And we're live.
We are live once again.
Yes. Hello. Good evening, Vibhor. How are you?
I'm pretty good. And how are you? How are the things on your end?
Pretty good. I think it's almost 10 p.m. for me, but the
Oh,
weather
okay.
looks good.
You told me that there was some big rain on your side, but is it fine now? The weather is better
Yeah,
now?
yeah, yeah. It's pretty fine now. Yesterday it was super rainy, but I think the weather
Okay.
has got relaxed up. The roads are clean. The weather is clean. So I'm hoping it stays the
Okay.
same for some time.
Yeah. I hope our Wi-Fi's on both sides stay stable, at least during the duration of this webinar. I see some
100%.
people are already starting to join us. So as usual, let's wait a couple of minutes and we can then start. So today we will be covering an interesting topic. We will be talking more about the PRs, and we will discuss it from a number of different perspectives and the tooling capacities of Zencoder, which I think is going to be quite interesting. So yeah, let's wait a minute or two, and then we can dive in and show some of the cool stuff. I would also actually like to start this, if it's fine with you. I would also like to start our webinar today with some housekeeping, basically some service information about the improvements, the recent improvements that we just shipped, and VS Code version of the plugin coming also to JetBrains, just for people to see what we are working on. So I will be starting with that one, and then I will show you I will show you basically how to use autonomous agents from Zencoder across different platforms. And in this case, we'll be talking about GitHub, GitLab, and also Bitbucket. So pretty much having this trifecta or trinity of the most popular, I would say, version control systems. If people who are joining us will have any questions, as always, Shantanu, I'll rely on your eyes and for you to be my eyes while I'm in full screen, so I can understand if people are asking any questions. So feel free to stop me at any moment, and that should be fine.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. I think you can kickstart, and I think people
Okay.
can join.
All right, give me 1 second. I will share my screen, and then we can take it from there. Also, I'd like to welcome everyone who just joined this stream, and especially the people who will be also watching this stream later on, because we usually see that, right? A bunch of people join us during the event, but a bunch of people also watch it and share it later on. So welcome everyone. So yeah, as I said, I would like to start by some updates related to what we just shipped with Zencoder, and then we will talk more about PRs. So give me 1 second to just share my screen. There we go. All right, I'm assuming that you can see my VS Code.
Just a second. Yes, there you go.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So here is our old and trusty Hatchet SDK. We've been using this poor repo for a lot of our demos. So why not do it today again? So at the latest version of Zencoder extension that you can already get from the marketplace, we made some improvements in the way of how we are organizing different tool calls. So if I were just to go to Zencoder and yeah, I'll just make sure that I'm using my coding agent. I will go with Opus Parallel Thinking. I'll just go ahead and do the following. Hey buddy, tell me more about this repo in detail, and it would be nice if you can also create me an ASCII diagram depicting the architecture of this repository. So pretty much the standard stuff that I usually like to show here, but now you will also notice something, and that is, okay, the thinking part, obviously. That's something that we had before, but our tool calls now are being organized, right? So instead of having them expanded at all times, you will always see them now in these aggregate views. So I have these 3 tool calls, I can expand them. I have these nice little indicators telling me that those tool calls were successful. Again, I can always go here and see, what was going on, which files were affected. But it's actually a really nice way for me to have this more, I would say, consistent, but also, without those super long lines of each tool calls and operations and everything like that. So they are looking much nicer, much tidier. So big kudos to the team that has pushed this out. Currently, this is still not available on JetBrains to my knowledge, but very soon I am assuming that we will be having this there as well. So we will have this consistency across different IDEs. The team is always striving towards, making sure that the features and capabilities that we publish in one IDE, whether it's VS Code or JetBrains, are very soon available in other IDEs as well. So trying to keep that feature parity. The rest of the prompt and everything else, architectural diagram and so on, they are now, as usual here. You might notice that we have a couple of options here. Now with clicking the expand, this will be expanded, but there is another option to expand. Just clicking at the bottom of these code snippets, it will also expand. So, smaller changes, but, in quality of life improvements, something that makes a lot of sense. It is super easy to get used to these things, right? So small affordances that can actually go a long way. Another thing that also, in addition to these changes, and especially in addition to these tool calls aggregations, is the support for OAuth for MCPs in VS Code as well. So as you guys probably already know, we have support for tools and our MCPs through the MCP library, or whatever it is that you're using. You can create your own custom. You can install your own custom MCPs or use some from our library. Now we also support MCPs which come with the OAuth support. Making it even easier for you to install them, authenticate with them, and use them, and make them available to either your custom agents or through some of our default coding agents that we have available here. So that was like a couple of minutes of just the housekeeping, keeping you up to date with the changes. There will be a lot more coming, and I also would like to use this opportunity to say, keep an eye on our announcements this week or early next week, but especially I would like to invite you to our next webinar. I will not disclose the topic right now, but we will show you how Zencoder is going to take the next big step in breaking the silos and improving the developer productivity. So keep a close eye on our Discord and our Reddit, and also please make sure to join our next webinar. We will be sharing more info about that, but definitely not want to miss the next one. All right, so with this out of the way, let me talk about the PRs and PR reviews. So traditionally, in traditional development workflows where we did have an AI assisted flows, you would make some changes to the code. You would push that as a PR to your version control system, be it a GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, whatever it is that you were using. And then in most cases, you would have another engineer who would, as your peer, go there, check some of those changes, check your PRs, and make changes to them. Basically, it would look similar to. Give me 1 second. Yeah, give me 1 second, please. It would look similar to this, right? You would have some open PRs, someone would click on them, review them, leave the comments, and so on. So that was a standard practice, right? And there is nothing wrong with that practice even now, but as we are moving towards more autonomous systems, and we already talk about autonomous agents from Zencoder, and I will recap that a little bit more. It also started making a lot of sense to have autonomous agents that are able to review your PRs, review them in a way that, providing useful comments, providing suggestions on how you can improve them. Are you making some, notational or syntactic errors, or if you're just, completely off the track. So instead of wasting too much time, especially if you have a lot of PRs, if you are maybe a engineering lead, Zencoder can help with that. And one of the biggest requests that we had was, okay, we like your autonomous agents. We like the fact that they can solve a bunch of different issues. It would be really nice if we could expand that and make sure that those PRs, automated PRs and solving of those issues could be done across multiple platforms, right? So GitHub, arguably most popular, but also GitLab, quite popular. It can be self-hosted. It's also open source. And then there is also Bitbucket. So for the rest of this demo, I'm going to show you top-level overview of how this works across these platforms. So everything starts if you go to your auth.zencoder.ai and create different connections to your repositories. You can see that pretty much it can be, as I said, either a GitHub, Bitbucket, or GitLab. You will provide it with a connection name and with the personal access token, pretty much authenticating and giving it access to the system. Following that, you can also create those autonomous flows. Here I have one for my repository called Core Geo Network. I added this repository previously here. Again, adding repos is relatively simple. You just click here, select a different connection, edit the repository name, and that way it becomes available for these autonomous flows. It also becomes available for those multi-repos use cases that I was mentioning before. If I want to do searches across multiple repositories, even if they are not opened in my current IDE. And lastly, these autonomous flows, I have, as I said, this Doxygen flow. So if I click on it, what it does, it actually creates a webhook, which is a trigger with a specific callback, and it passes the ID of one of the agents. And in this case, this agent was Doxygen August, something that I demoed a few weeks back. If you go to agents, you will see that I have this Doxygen agent here. This is pretty much the purpose of that agent. Now, this is the way how you can run pretty much any of your custom agents. And your custom agents, you will see them in the agent selector. So these are the Zencoder agents. Custom agents are listed here. You can easily click here on Manage to create your own custom agents, or you can go to our standard Zencoder menu, go to Agents, Create Agents, and then decide which tools they're going to have access to, provide them with instructions, and decide if you want to share them with others. So these things were pretty much already known from before. But what happens when, for example, I already have solved a PR, or I'm making directly some changes to the code, and I would like to have an automated system that will review those for me. So if I go back here, you will remember, and you will see it actually here, that I have this trigger, which is a webhook trigger. We wanted to have a very simplified and unified approach where, for example, you could trigger or basically engage those different you can trigger or engage those different agents from, let's say, Jira. Jira is also something that's quite popular. You can use a bunch of different other task management or project management tools, but we decided to go with Jira for the purpose of this demo. And I will show you how in Jira we created workflows that can dispatch these autonomous agents, and including raising the PRs and reviewing them from one single, pretty much the same interface. So this is my dev project. It has a bunch of different tickets. Some of them are related to my Hatchet project that I already mentioned. Some of them I've showed before with This is an Agents Java. That was the one that I showed moments ago. But what is really important is this real rule builder part that we have in Jira. So let me show you really quickly. So if I go to global automation, you should be able to see a couple of Jira being Jira, you should be able to see a couple of our different pre-prepared rules that we have for automation. So we have Zen agents, which is the one that we are triggering, and it will work on top of GitHub. Then we have a Zen agents for Bitbucket. We have a Zen agents for GitLab, and the one that I built before with Java. Kudos to Alex for helping set up these. So with Zen agents, let me open the first one for GitHub. That was the one that probably the most people are, the most familiar with. So you will see that basically it is a relatively simple, as I said, a workflow. It says when work item is updated, and that update in this case means setting the label to Zen agent, then set the web request that triggers it, and also here it is an automation for the Jira itself, and what it is the automation for this agent. Very similar to this is, for example, if I were to go to Bitbucket, but now in this case, this will change if I set the label Zen agents Bitbucket, and surprise, surprise, if I go to Zen agents GitLab, again, it will trigger this one. You will see here that, please fix this Jira issue. I'm providing some of the metadata and information here. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to start, for example, let's do this one with what can we do? You know what? Let's use this one. And for this one, I will go and I will just call it Zen agents. This means that this one, I will assign the Zen agents label. This means that this one will trigger a flow to my GitHub. So while this one is working on GitHub, let's take another one. Let's take this one here, implement token validation function, and let's dispatch this one on Bitbucket. And let's take doc strings and use that one for what remains. I believe it's GitLab, right? GitLab. So now if I go to automation, if I go to audit log, I should be able to see, okay, so for the GitLab, it was just enabled. I will just refresh it. It should be shown as in progress. Okay. 1847, so this is the one. It already executed it here. It says success. So I can see it here. If I take a step back and maybe open Zen agents, this was the one for GitHub. 1847, show more. It is also working on it. And the last one was for GitLab, I believe, audit log. Success, also that one has been done here. So what I've done here, as you can see, for example, you can have any number of different tasks. And without me even using my IDE, I could just easily trigger them here and just have my agents work on these tickets, trying to solve them. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to check how this actually works and looks on different source control systems. So I will go first to my GitHub here. So previously I did this for Java. So under the actions, I could see that, for example, it already ran this agent for me. This was something that I did previously. Running Zencoder agent, you can see all the actions that have been created here. This was the Doxygen agent, right? Not the one that I've just run previously. Opened the PR for me, created it. And what was really nice is that it also dispatched a review agent. So instead of just solving this, instead of just solving the specific tickets, it also, listens in the background if there are going to be any, newly opened PRs, regardless if I open this PR by executing an autonomous agent or if I just make direct changes to the file. So if I go here and open some of these pull requests, I think this one, right, so it described it here. And also you can see here, this is the automated PR, right? So basically what it did, it recognized that, okay, this is an incorrect documentation format and suggested how should I fix this thing for me. So again, code reviews or PR reviews are taking a huge amount of time for engineers that might be paid, it's not uncommon for, very senior engineers to receive 200K or even more of a salary. And with this, you kind of, I would say, relieve them of a lot of mundane tasks, because agents are already at a good position that they can review and provide good comments for a bunch of these typical issues that are noticed here. And you can still, as a human, have and add this additional, I would say, layer of understanding and critical layer on top of something that AI is still not able to cover. So this was something that was triggered automatically on an PR that has been raised by an autonomous agent. So for example, if I were now to, I don't know, make some changes to a README file, let's go and find my README file here, edit file, just do something deliberately, something that doesn't make sense deliberately. So blah, blah, commit changes. I will create a new branch for this commit, and I will hit propose changes. And I will go and create my pull request here. Now, what should happen in the background is that Zencoder, our autonomous agent, should now bring up an automated PR review that will review this commit that I've just made, right? So as you can see, as I said, this was not a really super smart one. I deliberately wanted to make it like this because I want to see what kind of comment will this agent leave for me. So if I go to conversation, you can see here runs encoder agent on PR review. I will click on it. All right, it says validating MCP servers, reviewing pull request. Let me start by examining pull request details. Let me analyze this change. You see everything that is making, and it says like, okay, this is a significant issue as it makes the project title unprofessional, confuse users, appears to be either a test change, accidental, PR body is empty with no explanation. So as I said, it's kind of drilling me here, which is fine. But if I were to use and say, and as I said, like, raise it on as something more serious and something that is way more complex with an actual code change like the one that you've seen before, you would be able to see how it actually looks like. So let's give it a moment. I think is actually completing this job. Yep, the job has been completed. If I now go to pull requests and check this one, I should be able to see these comments. Yeah, exactly. You can see now, literally just like the human, it actually is using my username here. You can see it actually leaving comments and suggestions of how I should fix this and why this change was not really that substantial in a way. Very similar way and very similar approach is happening with pull requests if I'm running them on GitLab or Bitbucket. So for example, if I were to go here, these are my pull requests on Bitbucket. I'll refresh if we have any new ones. Yeah, okay. So if I click here, you can again see that it actually created, it made changes across multiple files because we wanted to implement this token validation. Again, without me doing this in the IDE, just by triggering it from Jira itself, it actually provided me with this. And I can see my commit here that is actually prepared. So this was one part, and a very similar approach is something that can be done in the GitLab as well. So this was Bitbucket in GitLab. Let me refresh this. You will remember that a couple of minutes ago for Bitbucket we told it like we want to add comprehensive doc strings. This entire pipeline has passed and it actually opened a PR for me. So if I click on it here, I should be able to see those changes made. And then I can also, automatically raise this PR review. So one thing is, the question that we are often being asked is, when to use these autonomous agents, autonomous PRs, compared to, just working on them directly in the, through the IDE and through the standard stuff. I would say that, as the autonomous agents, as the LLMs and AI in general gets better and better, you will be having a more and more opportunity to dispatch entire swarms of the agents to work on these multiple tasks or multiple tickets. You saw the moments ago, right, when I was in my Jira here, it was very simple for me. What I did, I was just, changing these labels, and, every time I would just assign a label here, it would go back in the background. It would trigger the entire automation part for me. It would, create and raise this PR. It would also raise the PR reviewer for me. So all these things happening pretty much automatically. Now, would I do this for something that would require a really in-depth structured architectural thinking about it? Most likely not. But for a bunch of these things, like, adding doc strings, implementing some kind of validations, adding type hints with a high level of assurance, I would say, like, these are the things that I completely trust AI to do them properly and do them right without too much of a hassle, right? So, as I said, as the systems get better, you will be having an ability to unleash like swarms of these little agents working across your tickets and solving a bunch of issues for you at the same time here, as just as you saw it here for 3 different ones. Yeah, so this pretty much summarizes the part that I wanted to show you. Quick question for you, Shantanu. Are we having any questions so far?
Yes, we have a bunch of questions.
Mm-hmm.
So there's one question from Glenn. So Glenn is asking, are we being
Oh,
extra?
is that the Glenn? Is that the Glenn from the last time? Glenn Lil,
Yes.
was it the last name or something?
Yeah,
Okay, hi
yeah.
Glenn. Hi Glenn. Nice to see you again with us.
So yeah, Glenn's question is around: are we paying extra for each tool call, or are some included in the AI action?
Okay, that's a great question. Glenn, full disclosure, we still currently don't have this pricing system worked out. This is something that's coming. My apologies. This is something that's coming very soon. So we will be having updated pricing. This is something that, this autonomous agents, right, is something that we are unleashing or basically giving access to some of our larger customers for now, but it is pretty much generally available. You just need to reach out to us, and then we can enable it on our side. But the pricing details of this are still being worked out. We are considering a couple of options, right? Is this going to be on top of the existing subscription, or this is going to be like a pooled number of calls? But I still don't have the precise information on that. You can expect that coming very soon. As soon as the product team and GTM team have it available, we will be publishing that on our docs. We will be publishing that on our website, and also on the next webinar, or whenever we have that info, we will be sharing that with everyone.
Awesome. One last question from Glenn that we have. Another question
Mm-hmm.
is a long-term problem has been using control plus left, control right or left arrow in the sidebar
Uh-huh.
prompt area. Any idea when that can be fixed?
Yeah. So I know what you mean. Like, stuff here and abilities to move by word, and basically this accessibility and usability issue, if I understand correctly. And this has been something that we've been hearing from the community. This is on the roadmap. I know that one of our product managers, Pablo, and his team, they are working on this. Very much aware of it, but because of this big thing that we are going to launch very soon, I'll be honest, this is something that we put aside because we wanted to prioritize supporting new models, new codes, new coding agents, and a bunch of these things that you just saw. But this is something that we want to fix for you guys. It is also my pet peeve. I mean, it frustrates me from time to time as well. But it is definitely on the, it's in the book. It's something that we are working on.
Awesome. I think we don't have any more questions. I think that's it from the crowd.
Okay. Let me see. Okay, we had a people from New York. We have Glenn here. We had a people from all over the place. That is always nice. Again, thank you everyone for joining. Please be sure not to miss our next webinar. It might be a little bit different setting with a little bit possibly different people on the show. But more important than that, I believe that we will be showing something that really takes Zencoder and developer and engineering productivity to a next level. Personally, super excited about it. Shantanu and I were discussing just before this webinar, like, should we tell it how much we can divulge right now? We have to tread carefully. So we ended up talking about weather, just to keep our minds off of it. But please join us. Please join us for the next webinar. Make sure that you follow our Discord and Docs and our communities. We will be posting on our Reddit as well. Shantanu, you might want to drop a link to our Discord or Reddit
Yes,
for people to join them. We like to have you there and have more activities with you. So of course, if you'll have any questions, feel free at any point just to share them there. And Shantanu, Leon, Alex, bunch of us, bunch of people from the product team are there, and we'll be happy to answer any of your questions. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us and for being here with us again.
Yep. Thank you so much, Vibhor. Thank you so much for taking the time today. It was once again lovely having you here, and I am
Of
super
course.
excited for next week. So
Yeah, we all are. I mean, I'm this close to telling what, but that might cost me my job. So I will err on the side of caution. So join us next week. Have a great rest of the week, and we will be seeing you very soon. Thank you everyone for joining. Take
take
care.
care. Cheers. Bye.
Goodbye.